Hello. Welcome. It is time for a campaign update and town hall. And I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, still a candidate for President of the United States from the 2024 election. I have not conceded the election, so I'm still part of the... There, maybe that's better. Yeah, that was a little bright before. I'm still a candidate. I have not conceded. And I want to welcome you to this town hall. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, or Susan Buchser for short. And welcome. So, campaign update is that I'm in Switzerland right now. And I'm spreading the word that my vote was not counted. And I haven't even begun to announce the fact that as a candidate, as a U.S. citizen of age, fulfilling all the requirements, in some states I was not even considered a candidate, including my own state. I was not official there because I was not registered to vote. So that didn't allow anybody to have their vote counted that voted for me. So that's a huge problem. That's a lot of votes that were thrown out, U.S. citizen votes, and that's unconstitutional. You cannot add extra requirements onto candidates than what's in the Constitution. So unacceptable, West Virginia, unacceptable, any other state that did that. You are thieves and lying and cheating and manipulating. And it's unfair. It's unconstitutional. Our founding fathers would be, yeah. I don't think they would find it acceptable. At least not all of them. So shame on you, Democrats and Republicans, for not counting votes that were legally cast for legal candidates. Shame on you. Then, it's Mother's Day. So I want to say a very happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And, I'm working for you all, because it's important, the work you're doing. And so far, every Christian I talk to, they think that you don't need to be paid. But I think you do. I mean, I should say not all Christians, but the conservative ones. So they want to take our country back to a time where women were being treated like slaves and were kept women with men, and they want to roll back the system to this time where women could not do anything but be a woman. I don't want to go back there. But motherhood needs to be respected, and it needs to be paid. And since men are not earning what they used to, it is time for women to get paid for their important work. We pay men for all their important work of defense and other things that they do to support our country. But we don't pay women for their important contribution, which without women, we would have no country because we'd have no people. So we need U.S. citizens, and we need them to be paid. And I should have said, like I said before, the conservative Christians are against this concept. But the ones that know the real way of life, so many people agree with the concept. So it's time to move forward on this. We need a women's league where we will organize a program to train upcoming mothers, get them in apprenticeship programs where they're helping out a mother a couple of times a week during the week. with chores and care, so that the mother can also have a little time available, because currently a lot of our mothers are anyways home being single mothers and trying to live on food stamps. And it's not really acceptable. This is not what our country meant when it said Congress was supposed to make, provide for the general welfare. This is not what was meant to. Mothers deserve better than a drug addict, than what a drug addict gets. Sorry, their contribution to our country is far more superior than someone who's taking heroin. They should not be in the same building and getting the same stipend. No. Mothers are important. We need to take care of them. We need to give them the tools that are necessary to do their job. And that means we need to pay them. We need to give them an education. We need to give them vacation time. We need to give them health care benefits. And we need to give them a pension. And I want to give them a community center in every town so they can meet up, and the kids can meet there and meet each other and learn how to be humane to each other. This is what's missing. We've lost community in our towns, and we need to bring that back. So it is time for having like a mothers meetup, where these mothers will come together and meet up and meet each other, and their kids will meet, and community will be built. So it is time to do this. And as you know, part of my platform is also education reform, where the younger kids will have to come to public school in the mornings, and then in the afternoons they go home for lunch, and then they can go to a private school if they want, or they can come back to public school and continue learning there for free or provided by the government. Then I want smaller classrooms and more... Sorry, there's some sort of truck driving around me. So we need smaller classrooms, more classrooms, closer to every home. In some rural areas, we'll have one-room classrooms where there might be different generations in one class, learning together, or even just one class at all, and the kids go and come from school together of all ages. After school sort of officially will end around the age of 14, and at that time kids will then start doing an apprenticeship. And do an apprenticeship for 3 years, so they'll learn a trade and a skill that will give them pride and accomplishment feelings, so they can learn to provide for themselves, learn about money, and, talking to people of different ages. We need to give our children the skills to survive in these modern times. And then they'll work a couple of days a week, and then the other 2 or 3 days, they will go to classes to learn the skills they need to do that job. So, and this is for all kids. There's plenty of time after that to go to university. But before that, we want to make sure you have a skill that you can fall back on if that happens. So, yeah, something that's needed in the community. Then the final year of high school, which, like I said, high school will be changed to this new apprenticeship program, will be a Constitution year, where you will learn about your Constitution, you will learn about your government, and when you're 18, you will say the Pledge of Allegiance for the first time, and it will be official and it will be meaningful. You will be pledging your allegiance to our country. Not like this system we have today where you're pledging allegiance and you have no idea what you're saying. If people feel the need to pledge to each other when you're under 18, then you pledge to your school, you pledge to your town, you pledge to your family, you pledge to your friends, but you don't pledge. You're too young to pledge to your country. So at 18, you will officially pledge to your country, and then you will be seen as an adult in your town, in your county, in your state, and in the country. And that means all the responsibilities that come with that too. So this is part of my plan for the future. We will have different organizations set up in different areas, and then there will be some changes with people, how can I say it, with structures of towns even, and a new voting system. So this is some of the main points of my platform, and I think that with this paying mothers and bringing them home so they're available for their children, because this is what's really missing, is so many mothers can't be there for their kids. And so, the kids are hurting, and we feel that every day, especially with these shootings that we have, and unhappy children. So we need to do something and bring mothers home, because it is an important job to raise children, and it's time you got paid for it. There are other female jobs that need pay or better pay that will also be coming. So we'll be blossoming into a more nurturing society, and a more home-based and community-based system. Shopping locally is going to be more normal, and there's just, in my platform, there's big changes planned. But the biggest thing is our Constitution has not been touched, really, since the beginning of our country, since it was written and decided upon. It's in old American English that hardly anybody understands anymore. And before we get too much further away from the founding of our country, we need to change it, update it, bring it into today's world and terminology. And we need to talk about ways that we can govern in a better way. I think we have to stop this idol worshiping that we do. Having, all this money going to presidential candidates is just a waste. There's so many better ways to spend money. We could be driving all clean cars. But no, we have to listen to stupid ads about hating each other and pointing out how bad the other one is. And this is not productive. It's a waste of time. Somebody had to come up with that, so they have a mind for finding evil. And, it's just, it's stupid. So there are other ways of electing people, and there are other ways of organizing a government so that we would be run by a board of directors, sort of like the president's board already that's there. So there's a health department and an education department and so on and so forth. And then every year there will be a new president. One person will be that president for that year, and then next year it'll go on to the next one, and so on. And the position of president will be more a figurehead president, where you go, if you have to do a speech here or there, or if some sort of tragedy happens and you need to be on the ground looking at it, that would be that president's job. Or if, like, the Olympics are held in the U.S., then of course you would be at the Olympics, and so on. But to keep worshiping idols and bring one after the other, and then we have this ping pong match going on, It's fake anyways, but it does seem to be happening between the Democrats and the Republicans, you know. So, so for 4 years we're like this country, and for 4 years we're like that country. That has to stop. And the other thing that has to stop is we don't need a big Congress. We got too many people in Congress, and they're not listening to you. They're not listening to me. They're not listening to us. And so it's time that the vote goes to you, the people, directly. And you will decide on issues like spending and just what we need as far as a country goes, or also, you know, general speed limits, or on a more local level in your town and your state, you might decide on changes to your own constitution, or changes to or maybe like a new street or a new bridge or whatever. And so I'm going to give the power to the people, not to the Democrats and Republicans, and not to a single figurehead, but to the people. You will decide. But I need your help too. I need you, to vote. And I need you to check on your Social Security number and update your address. And what else? I need you to join in on Election Day and help out with the counting of the ballots. There will be paper ballots, and we will physically count them, including computers. It's no longer transparent. We don't know what software is there. And I know that they were buying software this year or last year for right before the election. So I think, you know, we've got a lot of fraud in our election system, especially when computers are involved. And yeah, you know, it's just unacceptable. Just unacceptable. So we need to change our election process and our government organization. So that means a new constitution. We need to clean up the old constitution and make it new and shiny and bright. And I'm going to need your opinions on a couple of things too. So this is my platform, part of it anyways. If you want to find out more about my platform, you can go to my website. So that's Susan4USA.com. Susan, the number 4, USA.com. And you can find out more about my platform and what I want to bring to the country. But first off, I have a lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court because our last election was fraudulent. And so many illegal people voted, and then votes were thrown out. It's unconstitutional to force U.S. citizens to register to vote, to have their vote counted. And in West Virginia, my U.S. citizen vote went uncounted. They threw it out. So this is unacceptable, and we need to bring the bad guys to justice. I'm working on it. So Supreme Court, I call on you to act on my lawsuit, and let's clean up the USA, drain the swamp, and start fresh. We got lots of work in front of us, and it's time to get started. I call on you to do that now. So, as far as anything else goes right now, I don't really have anything. I'm very concerned about the state of our country and our families, and we can do so much better. So the best way to do that is working together. So let's do it. Let's work together. Let's bring this change that we could bring and make a difference. And I guess on that note, I'm going to stop because nobody's really asking any questions. And that's about it. So thank you very much for stopping by. I already told you my website, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to get to them next week. So for now, I wish you a good day.